we've got new, fresh Fox News polls. They reveal former President Trump is leading President Biden in Nevada, in Arizona, and in Florida. Biden and Trump are tied in the usually blue state of Virginia. That's an important one. Voters in all 4 states say they trust the former President Trump over Biden to handle both the economy and immigration. Joining me now is Tennessee Congressman Chuck Fleischmann, a member of the House Appropriations and Science, Space, and Technology Committees. Congressman, thanks very much for being here this morning. We were waiting to see these polls because we want to see if anything changed in terms of the support for Trump post the conviction. Your reaction to this latest poll?
I'm thrilled, but I'm not surprised. The American people are wise. Almost 4 failed years of Joe Biden. Just when you can't think it can't get any worse, it does. Under Donald Trump, I remember vividly, whether it was the economy, foreign policy, things were getting better and better and better. And we were doing so well, literally, that the radical left was trying to find any area to say we weren't doing good enough. Everybody was doing well. The reality is Donald Trump is winning in the swing states. He's going to carry every red state for sure. But we could see a landslide. I'm seeing this brewing. I'm seeing the momentum. I was at an event last night where people, I saw somebody who was a traditional Democrat there, and it's amazing. They're fed up with the Democratic Party, and they're looking to Donald Trump to fix this mess domestically and abroad.
Now, do you think there's any chance Joe Biden withdraws from this race before the election? That's what some people think.
There's always that possibility. Let's face it, President Biden has been struggling from the inception. It's just gotten progressively worse. Yeah. And I use that term progressively across the spectrum, worse, worse, and worse. But yes, I think they're stuck with Joe Biden. They can't go to Kamala Harris, but they might go to their bench at the convention. But the reality is the American people, whether you're a Republican or an independent, and even some Democrats or even people who are not political, realize just how good we were doing under President Trump. All of those metrics, unemployment, optimism. I mean, our foes feared us, our allies cherished us. We need Donald Trump back. But these swing state polls, as you alluded to, Maria, are incredible. We're going to win places I think we haven't won in a long time. And
you see President Trump going to all these deep blue cities and communities, whether, the South Bronx or New Jersey or Minnesota, and he's getting these huge crowds. But I want to talk about policy for a moment, because President Biden is reading the room. He sees that immigration and this wide open border is important to voters. And so he does this executive action on the border. But what do we learn now? 10,000 migrants are reportedly in Border Patrol custody today. That is 4 times the limit set by the president's executive order earlier this week. The New York Post this morning is reporting that leaked documents show tens of thousands of migrants could be exempt from these new restrictions, this executive order. The Post writes this. A memo seen by the Post reads, single adults and family units who are very hard to remove may be considered for processing of expedited removal or placed into so-called Section 240 removal proceedings. In plain English, Section 240 removal means they're released into the United States. President Trump spoke about the border at an Arizona town hall just last night. Here's what he said.
This allows millions of people into our country. Joe Biden's order is pro-invasion, pro-child trafficking, pro-women trafficking, pro-human trafficking, pro-drug dealers. And in all, it's really they bring death and they bring destruction into our country. It's really pro-illegal immigration. I will terminate every single open borders policy of the Biden administration as soon as I take the oath of office.
Congressman, your reaction?
Outstanding. Donald Trump says it better than anyone else. He's spot on right on every point. In a prior Congress, I was the ranking member on Homeland Appropriations for the Congress, for the House. I went to the border with President Trump. The morale at the border then was high. The officers were great. They were doing their job. Under Joe Biden, it's been open, porous borders that he incentivized. And the American people know this. He incentivized this from day one with radical left-wing Democrats. And the proof in the pudding is that now the ACLU and radical left-wingers are actually going to try to challenge Biden in court on this. It's outrageous. It's wrong. So they want to keep all these illegals in this country who are committing crimes, who are causing all kinds of problems. And the fiscal damage that is being done to these crazy northern sanctuary cities that have let all these people in. Now they can't afford to pay them, and taxpayers are saying, what's up? So the reality is Donald Trump, day one, will begin to fix this. It's going to take years to fix the problems that Joe Biden and the radical left-wing Democrats have caused to this country. That was the danger of Joe Biden being president. The American people are tired of 4 years of that. They want Donald Trump back. I want Donald Trump back.
Well, they also are wondering why so much money keeps going to Ukraine to protect its border, and we're not protecting the U.S. border. We've got breaking news this morning, Congressman. Biden just announced that he's going to send an additional $225 million in funding to Ukraine. Watch this.
I'm also signing an additional package for $225 million to help you reconstruct the electric grid. I assure you, the United States is going to stand with you. I've said that all during this debate. I continue to say it. The United States is standing with you. You are the bulwark against the aggression that's taking place. We have an obligation to be there.
By the way, the president is worried about the electric grid in Ukraine. What about the electrical grid in the U.S.? We're all talking about the strain on data centers and on the electrical grid because of all these data centers and all of this capacity that we're using because of AI. And he's sending $225 million to help them reconstruct their electrical grid.
Well, Maria, as you know, I'm the chairman of the Energy and Water Subcommittee of Appropriations. And in that regard, I have really put out the clarion's call. We need more energy in this country because our electricity needs are going to go higher and higher. Worldwide demand for electricity is so important. That's why we need fossil fuels, oil and gas. That's why we need to make sure that nuclear, and I'm the leading congressman in both houses on new nuclear. We need nuclear. Oddly enough, some of the progressives have joined me on nuclear, but they just can't get away from their ethos of worshiping only renewables. We can't get there with only renewables. That's a sheer reality. So Donald Trump's going to get in. I know his new Secretary of Energy will probably day one begin to get our energy costs out there, get them lower, get abundance back in America. But in regard to Putin and Ukraine, Putin is dangerous. Russia is building up its nation's nuclear arsenal. That scares me. Russia does a lot of things wrong. One of the few things that they do well is HALEU. We've banned HALEU in America, but through the energy and water bill, I put in last year $2.8 billion to make sure that America now will have a domestic capacity to enrich uranium for fuel and for other reasons. So America will get back on track.
That's why I raised this. We're watching your work on that committee. We just spoke with Jordan Zimmerman, Zimmerman Advertising this week, and he was very adamant about the need for capacity. He's looking at the strain on the electrical grid because of the data centers, and yet we've got the president in France today sending money to Ukraine to help their electrical grid. You just can't make this stuff up. But I want to get back to Putin for a second, because Putin is now threatening. The West is wrong to assume that the Kremlin will never use nuclear weapons. This was an amazing comment this week. He said that Russia's 2020 nuclear doctrine allows Russia to use nuclear weapons if its sovereignty is threatened, Congressman. I know you're an advocate for expanding nuclear projects in our nation to face threats from Russia and China. You just mentioned that. But this is chilling to hear Vladimir Putin say, don't think we won't use nuclear weapons, we will. Your reaction?
It's outrageous. It is outrageous that Putin, who's a thug, is making these claims. First of all, if an American leader ever said anything remotely like that, there would be world outrage. We need to criticize him right away. The fact that he's talking about using either a tactical or other nuclear weapon is outrageous. That's why I'm working so hard to make absolutely certain that we are building up America's nuclear arsenal. We talked about the civil side through the NNSA under the Department of Energy. I am making absolutely certain that we are going to make our triad, our nuclear arsenal, as strong as ever. We've got to upgrade it. We've got to work with it, because the best deterrent is have the strongest, most efficient nuclear arsenal in the world. We do right now. I want our listeners to know that. However, Russia and China is actually building their own triad as well. So we've got to be careful there. But Putin's rhetoric is irresponsible. It's wrong. It's got to be condemned. And that's why he has to be stopped. Ultimately, he's a thug. The fact that he would even consider using a nuclear weapon in this day and age is just outrageous, and he needs to be called out for it.
Yeah, and he says it out loud, I mean, he says it out loud. Congressman, thanks very much. It's good to see you this morning, sir. We'll be watching your work, certainly on that Science and Tech Committee. Chuck Fleischmann joining us this morning.